Your modern cars come with plastic bumpers filled with styrofoam, crumple zones, padded dashes, and airbags hitting you from all sides. Old trucks, they come with metal dashes to eat your teeth. So what you're going to want to do is make sure you get a 3-point seat belt and make sure that you install it correctly, because if it's not, you might as well just take this and throw it in the trash now. My name's David Welch. I'm at Brothers Tech Center every single week showing you how to get your truck back on the road and safely. Today we're going to be installing seat belts in South 62. You better stay tuned unless you want to eat your dash. Alright, so what we're going to be doing is simply mounting some brackets down here in the corners. We're going to be drilling some holes and mounting some stuff right up in here of our lap belt piece. And then up here we'll be drilling a hole and mounting a bracket also. That bracket looks like this right here, this brass one. And the reason that you need this is that if you were simply to take a nut and bolt and a washer and bolt it up and put it back there, you just don't have any support. You need some support so that it just doesn't rip through like a washer would. Okay, so what this is for is this will go right up in here. I'll show you how to do that in just a little bit, but what I'm going to show you first is these brackets right here that go down in the bottom corners. Now the reason that these look different is because on the passenger side your gas tank doesn't get in your way and you can go ahead and install this nice and easy, but on your driver's side the gas tank is in the way, and so this bracket is specifically designed to go around the gas tank and then allow you to hook up your retractable here. Now some of the trucks came with seat belts already, and they will have holes in there that you can go ahead and bolt this right up to. This one doesn't, so I'm going to be showing you a worst case scenario, if you will, how I'll be doing it without any of the holes already there. If you're going to be drilling holes, if your truck did not come with the seat belts originally in there, I really highly recommend that you get these right here, because again, you cannot just use a simple washer. You have to have a nice big brace behind there, and you're going to want a nice big brace down here on this piece too. So see if you've got factory seat belts first. If you don't, then make sure you get these at the same time. I want to make sure that I get my seat belts all secured and in the bottom first before I'm able to see where I want to put my shoulder belt point. Now my bracket right here, it's not going to fit in here just any old way. It's basically just going to fit right into the channel that is the back lower support right here, and this ridge right in here, and then the bottom of this is going to go ahead and it's going to hit where the inner rocker panel starts. So I'll take this piece and I'll put it underneath. I'll get it positioned right where I need it. I'll get a little 1/8 inch drill bit. I'll get it right in the center of that bolt hole, right like that, and then I'll just simply mark it, pull this back out, and I'll drill the hole all the way through. Once I've got that drilled, then I will maybe make it a little bit bigger here, and then I'll get a larger drill bit on there. I always like to use pilot holes. It's just easier to get it positioned well before you go ahead and get your larger bit out. Now let's see if I can get this at slight of an angle here and get it drilled in good. So I'm going to take my bracket and I'm going to double check that my bolt hole is in the right spot. Now you'll notice 2 holes right here on the side. What I can do with those is I can use some screws or nuts and bolts to go ahead and bolt it through the cab here. I can do a rosette weld on it, whatever the fact, and then it'll stay up in there. Now I can just also just hold it up there when I'm putting the bolt in, and that's fine too. In the future, if you're going to be doing work on it, then it'll just come back out again. It's no big deal. So I've got this set up, and this is just going to set up like this, sandwiched into the floor sheet metal. So that's what that's going to look like when it's done, so to speak. But before I put this in, what I like to do is go ahead and bolt this on. And one of the most common things that you run into is getting this back one here twisted. So you got to make sure that that's nice and straight like that. And what we're going to do with these two pieces on the bottom is we're actually going to sandwich them in between like this. And that sandwiching is going to make it really nice and strong for us. So we've got our washer on our nut. Go ahead and put that nut on through. I'm going to double check to make sure, yep, that's the right way. Get another washer on here. And you don't need a lock washer on that because this is a nylon lock nut on here. So we'll be good to go. Before I tighten it all the way, I'm going to make sure that's straight. And I'll probably double check, make sure everything's tight one last time before I finish up. So that is how that's all going. Double checking one last time, make sure my straps didn't get twisted. Make sure that's in this right spot. You'll note this piece right here that's going to be going into the position up here. That has to be pointed the right way. If this was flipped around any other way, it wouldn't work. It's got to go just like that. Now I can take this piece here. I'll get lock washer, set this right down in here, and then get my nice big beefy seat belt brace. So again, maybe if your truck came with seat belts and it had the threaded support back here, you'd be able to take this bracket and just bolt it down. But again, that's not going to work because the cab mount support is back here, and we're not going to be able to put this plate back there unless I cut into it and a bunch of stuff. So what I'm going to do on this brace right here is I'm going to pick a spot right underneath that is right in the middle, and right in the middle I want to get as much metal as I can for this hole right here, and that bolt to go through so it's really good and supported. When I'm trying to figure out where this is going, I got to think about a couple of different things. I got to know where this brace is going to go. It can't move too far forward because you can see this edge right here. It can't go too far back because it'll hit the cab support in there. I also have to make sure that when this is bolted together like this, that it isn't too far forward or too far close to my pillar right here. And I've got to give a little bit of extra room because there's going to be rubber that goes right in there too. So I'll use all of those and get a good idea of where I want to put this. I'll mark some holes, and I'll get my brace and I'll stick it underneath. If I think I found a good spot, I'll simply take an 1/8 inch drill bit and I'll drill through, and I'll see how everything lines up. I'm not going to drill it out large just yet. I want to see where it's lining up first. If I'm a little bit off, if I'm just using a small drill bit, I'll be able to move it just a little bit and re-drill a hole. Once I found my perfect spot, then I can enlarge it and bolt everything back together again. So give me just a few minutes to see where I want this, and I'll be right back. Now again, when I'm putting this together, I am using a washer on both sides. I'm assembling the retractable here on the outside. Then I've got my brace, and then I've got my bracket right here. I made sure that it wasn't twisted and that this is facing the correct position. Then I'm going to get another washer on here, and then the bolt. Now the reason that you want to do it this way is just because it's cleaner. If you were to put the nut and bolt on the other way, then you'd have this ugly end sticking out, and this is just going to be more attractive. It's a small detail, but that's where you find the devil. Now, on the center belt points, you might be tempted to put both of them in one hole. Don't do that because you've got two people being supported by one hole. You want to make sure you've got one hole, one support for each person. You're going to be spreading the weight around. Now on this floor, we've got this notch going on right here. You can see this notch we've got going on right here. So we're going to have to install this with this in mind. Maybe it would have been nicer to have the belt over to the side a little bit or what have you, but we're going to need this brace, and this brace is going to fit best right in here. So what I did simply is just place this on top. I make sure that it fit underneath first, then I set it on top, and I just did a pilot hole, and then I just made sure that the one on the other side was exactly the same. If your trucks might be a little bit different, you might want to set them in different positions because of maybe you're a little bit taller, shorter, maybe you have your seat all the way forward, that kind of thing. So you might want to double check all those things with the seat in it first, and then decide exactly where you want to put these points. But this is where we're going to be putting these. I'm just going to drill these out a little bit larger, and then I'll go ahead and simply bolt this piece right on in. All right, so let's say, for instance, you did want to take advantage of these two holes on the side. What you're going to do is you're just going to put a bolt right through the nut backwards, so to speak, and then you can lay this right on top. Make sure it's positioned correctly. Mark your holes. Get a punch, get it right in the center there. Then I'll just simply drill out a little small 1/8 inch hole. Now all I need to do is just climb up underneath. I'll take some small screws right here and just go ahead and bolt it in, screw it in. Of course, you can get nuts and bolts. You can get fancy on this or not get fancy on this. Weld it in if you're going to be doing a frame off restoration and you've got access to it. But one way or the other. So now that I have this support plate all in there nice and firm, I can go ahead and bolt in my center pieces here. It's going to be bolt, lock washer, washer, and then we're going to bolt this down. You'll want to notice that it's got kind of a lean to it right here. You're not going to bolt it like that. You're going to bolt it like this. Also making sure that this is like this. Now the reason that we did our bottom first is because they have to be in and secure in order to figure out where our third point is going to be up here in the corner. Now you can't have it too short or it'll dig into your neck. You can't have it too tall or it's just not going to be as effective. So what you're going to want to do is find something that works, that's nice and comfortable for you. Now you also might want to consider how tall your wife is, how tall your kids are, and then you might want to put it somewhere in between so that it fits everybody, or just tailor it right to yourself. But I think I'm going to go somewhere in about this neighborhood here. That's feeling pretty comfortable. And so it's going to go somewhere in this neighborhood right here. All right, now the height I've chosen is about right here. And another thing that you want to make sure is that if you went too far forward, you can see now your seatbelt's kind of hanging out here. I don't want to go too far back either. I kind of want to keep a nice straight line right here with my retractable at the bottom. So it looks like this is going to be a nice spot right here. All right, so I'm just going to use a little 1/8 inch drill bit, and I'm going to do a pilot hole right in there. Now I want to make sure that my drill bit doesn't punch all the way through and do any damage to the outside of the cab. So I have to make sure that I've got some sort of collar or stop on my drill bit. They've got little things that you can screw on here. They always get lost in the toolbox. You can get a little small piece of hose. You can get some tape on there. But whatever you do, make sure you don't punch through. Another thing I like to do is put my hand between whatever I'm drilling and the drill, so that it will, if anything starts sliding off, I get better control, etc. Okay, so I got my pilot drilled. Now I'll simply get the larger drill bit and drill a hole through there. And then I'll be doing the same thing with the tape, making sure I don't punch all the way through. All right, so I made this quick little holder right here. It's just made out of a coat hanger, and then I ran it up both sides on the edge, and I got it taped up, not blocking my hole right here. I want to tape it up enough to where it's going to hold on there, but not so much I can't pull it back out. I have to make sure that the flat side right here is going to be hitting right in here. I make sure that this right here, see how that's jutting out there? We don't want that facing out towards the cab here. It's got to be the flat side. Now, another thing I like to do too is I like to take the bolt and I like to run it through the holes right here and make sure that they're all nice and free and stuff. A lot of times when you get this up there, it's kind of tough to get things started, so you want to make sure that you know that the threads and everything are good first and that it does go in there without too much trouble, so that when you're doing it and you're struggling, you know that it's just your struggle and not your threads. So I've got this all set up. Another thing I want you to notice is that this bolt right here comes in your kit. This is the last one you're using here. And you'll notice how it's got this edge here, or this shank right there. And that is so that when you have this piece here, second, okay, you pull the plastic piece back, and that's going to bolt right through there. And we don't want this solid on the cab. We need this to move a little bit, and that's why it has that shank on there. Now, sometimes people, they think this makes a little bit noise and such. You can get little felt washers and put them up there to help keep things quiet if you like. I'm just going to get going on with what I got today. Now, if you are lucky, like I am today, you have a seat that'll fold down forward like that for you, but you may not be, and you're going to have to unbolt it and move it forward. So this part right here, this might be a little bit of a struggle because you have to have the retractable up far enough, and you have to basically keep everybody in balance all at the same time, if it were. So first what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a good feel for where this is going, and that's nice right there. And then I'll go ahead and get this started. Now, this little piece right here, it does have holes in here that you could, you know, use screws, or you could rivet it on or whatever. I just don't like to do that because I just can't stand to have any screws or holes or rivets in my paint right there. So just move the plastic piece back, and now we're all ready to rock and roll. I guess another thing you could do too is just get some glue on here, some really strong glue, and then it'll hold it up there for you. Not enough to bolt it up, but if you had to take it out in the future, it'll kind of hold it in there and keep it in place. So you can tailor things the way you like. You don't have to do everything the way I do it. You're going to have little nuances in your truck that you may want to make things different. And that's what this whole ball game is about. It's customizing it the way that you like it. So look, man, I know you got your truck and you want to figure out what color you're going to paint it, what wheels you're going to put on it, and all that kind of stuff. Just do me a favor and make it safe first. Get yourself the 3-point seat belts. Get yourself a dual master cylinder and disc brakes. Once you're safe, then you can think about all the other little bells and whistles you can put on your truck. Until then, we'll see you on the road, man. Now, you make sure you check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, because I asked you to, and I was really nice about it.